Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. I am Shadow. How are you doing, everybody? We're gonna interview a new friend of mine named Jake the Giant Slayer. Kirino, do you mind just throwing his tag up in the chat, please? All right, and we're gonna get Jake now. We're gonna bring the music down a bit, and we're gonna hang out with him for a little bit. Alrighty. Jake, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Boki likes your avatar. Boki, this is not his finished avatar. This is an avatar he's using at this moment. He will be editing it and getting another avatar soon.
Yes.
All right, so let's start. Let me just grab my questions. All right, Jake. So let's start with an introduction. How about you introduce yourself to the audience right now?
Alrighty.
Oh, crank Jake up. Hold on, I gotta crank you up a bit.
Go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Jake.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. For those of you that don't know, I am a VTuber that loves to game and I love having an audience. My name is Jake the Giant Slayer, and I absolutely love you guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for that, Jake. So my question for you is, how did you start? How did you start to become a VTuber or a streamer in general?
Actually, with the past year with COVID and quarantine going on, had a lot of spare time on my hands for entertainment, looking up YouTube, Twitch, things like that, and ended up stumbling across VTubing. And I thought it was really interesting because it was highly involved with anime and streaming, video games, socializing and talking with people. And I thought it was really cool. And probably sometime around last October, a lot of my friends started talking about starting up streaming on Twitch and asked if I was interested in. I said, yeah, I am. But if I end up doing it, I'm going to end up doing a slight variation and start something called VTubing, which I had to explain that to them. And ended up taking it from there. It was something I didn't really think was accessible to me until I kind of peeked behind the curtain and saw it's actually fairly easy to get involved with it.
Very, very cool. All right, my next question for you then is, what's your influence in your life to make you want to become a streamer?
To become a streamer, I can't say I had anybody personally in my life. I mean, I have a couple friends that started up the same time that I did, but I can't call that much of an influence. But probably if I had to name anybody, the Shoujo team, the girls that run that, and their VTubing is what decided to get me into it. Kind of a camera shy guy. I don't like showing my face very much. I've been told I got a face and a voice made for radio, so I figured I'd hide it behind an avatar. And after seeing how successful they could be at it, and knowing it was in reach, I didn't see a reason not to reach for it.
Very cool, Jake. All right. What's one thing you wish you had known when you began your streaming career?
Like I had said before, I really wish I had known how easy and in reach some of this could really be, because from the other side of the screen, you're just an audience member, and you watch people on the stage, but you know that it's not you performing, and you don't really think it can be. You don't ever think of yourself on the silver screen. But if somebody came out of the blue and said, all you gotta do is get this program together, build an identity, build a platform, and you could have it, then I don't see any reason why somebody wouldn't dive in on that. So I really wish I had known earlier that it's easily accessible, and probably that I will make mistakes and they're not that big of a deal.
I agree with that, because honestly, with me, it was the same. I had to learn how to do this all on my own. So basically, I watched videos. I actually had an influence of my own, but I'll talk about that on my Q&A interview, which will be next Sunday.
Gotcha,
we do have a question from the audience, it looks like. Nick Gaming Games 1234 asked, Jake, what motivated you to continue streaming?
Seeing that it was possible, because like anybody, I had to start out by just creating a Twitch account, getting the software for my avatar and everything together. And originally, I really didn't think it was going to go anywhere. I maintained kind of a pessimistic attitude of, if it's successful, great. If not, we haven't really lost anything. We're just right back where we started, being normal Jake. But once I started to build some momentum and saw that people really did want to show up, and not just for their own clout, they legit wanted to see me and thought that I was entertaining and worthwhile. Once I saw I was putting out a product that people wanted, I put the gear in and I said full steam ahead. Let's do it and take it as far as it'll go. So if anything, my audience, the Slayer's Legion, is what's pushing me forward.
Yes. Now, here's an off-the-topic question from me. What made you decide that the theme for your avatar and the theme for your Discord and theme for your whole Twitch thing was giant slayers or slayers in general?
That's actually a pretty good question right there. That came along built around a username because, I mean, I guess like any young adult guy, I played video games and with some, I guess you could say, kind of risque or out there usernames. And probably about a year before I started this, I ended up redoing my username because I had to use Discord for a lot of school projects. I am going for a bachelor's degree in computer science, so I had to professionalize my name somewhat. So I needed something that was work safe, but at the same time was me enough that would be recognized by my friends. And I've always maintained the attitude of, you can't keep me down. You're never going to show me a challenge or a distance or an opponent that's too big that I believe I can't do it. That's been my attitude my whole life. There's always a bigger fish, and I am the bigger fish. So if I am a giant slayer, I see no reason not to go with the play on words, Jake the Giant Slayer. Once the VTubing came around, I had to kind of start to think up how to incorporate that attitude into a physical avatar. I mean, obviously I have this model right here. Let me raise the hand real quick on it. Kevin, but Kevin is just generic. My custom model is going to be robotic themed. It's basically going to be a male android. And the idea behind that and the militaristic theme is taking on all opponents. You know, if you have an emergency, if there's any sort of situation to where the risk to or loss of human life would be too much, you're going to want a giant slayer, somebody that could take on any opponent no matter how big. And that's what I want to be. I want to be the ultimate weapon.
Amazing. Now here's the question though. Would it be okay if I showed them the concept art that you showed me earlier?
I will warn, I grabbed that off of Google, so I own none of it. Neither of us own it. It's by an artist. I have no idea who it is. But yeah, if that's copyright safe, then sure.
All right, perfect. So just give me one moment. Just scrolling up. So for my audience, this is the concept art that Jake is thinking for his actual custom-made model. Just like my model, how mine's custom-made. So these are some concept arts that he's chosen for his. All right, let's get you back on the screen here, Jake. I like how you're waving, and all I see is like your half your arm waving, and you're smiling, you weirdo.
I only have so many emotes with this generic model, and wave is one of them. So I just try to do it again.
At least you have a model. I'm just a PNG still. Remember?
Yeah, but you're also a custom PNG, so you've got at least a leg up in some category.
It just
you're
helps
unmistakable.
It helps to have an amazing artist. Is all I've got to say. That's the biggest thing for me.
I'm willing to bet. I've seen some of the art that's come your way for your avatar. It's absolutely stunning.
And she actually did one for TJ, who's going to be my next interviewee.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yes, she did a custom design for TJ, which I will show on my next interview day.
Nice. I'm going to have to tune in for that.
Audience, if you guys have any questions for Jake or me to ask to Jake, or, well, no questions for me, though. But basically, I can answer questions on my Q&A, all the questions I want for Jake today. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. I will make sure I get to those questions. We have an hour segment of interview before we switch over to Among Us. Bravo has a question for you. How do you choose your avatar?
How do I choose it? I use a program that's available for free on Steam called VTuber Maker. And let me see if I can actually do that in real time. If I want to, I can actually change out my avatar at will. Just takes a second to load.
Pardon me.
And roll through different variants. Like I've got a Magma Man. Yeah, we got the Magma Man over here. I mean, I guess if I wanted to, I could go with a woman if I wanted. but there's a whole collection of generic avatars that you can roll through and use. But that's also kind of a signature of the disadvantage, is that they're all generic. Anybody can grab this program and anybody can use them. If somebody else wanted to look like me, they very easily could. So that's a big reason why I'm trying to get a custom model up instead of something generic.
Understandable. You might want to move your avatar just a slight up because you switched. That's a big head.
Sometimes when I reset it, for some reason, he doesn't come back to the right position, but that should work right there.
All right, perfect. We just have your head in the middle of the screen. That works for me. All right, Bogey's question is, which is your favorite game?
In what category? That's a broad question.
That is a very broad question. Bogey, do you want to try and ask him what category, and I'll ask him my next question. So, what is your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
Kind of hard to say, because I've only actually been at this. February 7th will be 2 months. I haven't really done it enough to have any major mistakes just yet. But if I had to outline anything, it would probably come back to self-doubt and self-discouragement, because you're gonna have streams where you only have like 2-3 viewers, and it's just not gonna feel like it went very successful. And if you get out of that and you beat yourself up over it and say it was me, I didn't do something right, the game wasn't right, I had too many technical issues, I didn't curate it right, I didn't organize it right, and you beat yourself down, you're just not gonna want to do it anymore. And for a short while, I did that in the very beginning, to where I really did not think this was going to take off. It's like, why should I put effort into something that's not? But that's a self-defeating trap. The second you believe that, you really can't do it and you start giving up effort, that's the moment you fail. You really won't go anywhere because you don't believe you can.
Yes, and I that's understandable there. Boki's wondering, what's your favorite game in the horror game category?
The horror category. That is a big category, and I'll give you 2 answers to it. The right now favorite horror game that I have is Phasmophobia, which I play with Shadow a good bit. Shout out right there. But just because it's so adrenaline fueled, it's scary for all the right reasons, and they put a lot of detail into making sure that game is realistically terrifying for all the right reasons. The secondary answer I'll give to that is a classic BioShock, which I think that was probably one of the first games I ever had for console, and I played it through so many times. I love the jump scares, the dank, scary underwater atmosphere, the eerie humming throughout the halls. All of it is perfectly on point for what I want out of horror. So, Phasmophobia and BioShock.
Very cool, very cool. Hi, Civil Warrior. We're just doing interview time, and then we're going to have Among Us, Proxy, and General games. So you're more than welcome to hang out and have fun with us, Sybil. Civil Warrior 72 is actually a Canadian streamer like me. She's very cool. She was part of it. She became my follower, and I became her follower when I was only 300 followers at the time.
I love how you say only 300 followers. It's like, man, I look forward to that kind of future.
Well, Jake, you got to remember, I've been doing this for almost 7 months now. 7 to 8 months, I think. Hold on.
That's another thing, is I got to stop, like, on the failure question. That's probably a big one, is comparing myself to others. It's a bad habit that I got to knock off.
Yeah, it's a habit that I think all streamers have. They compare themselves to big name streamers. Right. For me, I will admit, I have been doing that as of recently, but I'm trying not to. So I keep in the mindset to revamp my stream every time I stream per week.
There you go.
All right, so we do have like 2 questions here. It looks like question. Gonna have lots of questions for you, Jake. What's your biggest fear of streaming and why?
Oh, that one's actually pretty easy to answer, although I'm reluctant to give the answer. My face. I don't ever want my audience to see my face or what I look like or know who I really am. That's my biggest fear, is I'm going to slip up on stream one day and accidentally tap my real camera and reveal that. Like,
It's
Batman needs to stay Batman.
It's funny you mentioned that because there's a meme about that where this really cute girl has an ugly guy character. Like it's basically an ugly guy. She's playing as this ugly guy avatar, and that's her whole thing. And then she accidentally revealed herself, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And like ends the stream, and her chat's like, "You're cute. Come back."
Ridiculous, but yeah, like keeping the mask on, I thought was kind of a part of the whole deal. I was surprised to see any VTubers ever reveal their face, but for my purposes, like I'll be Bruce Wayne and Giant Slayer can be Batman, but it needs to stay separate that way. So
it's funny you mentioned that because thank you so much for the follow, 6-1 Deuce, and welcome to the group. What was I saying? That's the biggest thing. When I first started, I actually didn't consider myself a VTuber. I just considered myself a normal streamer who was too afraid to use their camera. So I used a PNG, like always, like I do now. But I actually had a selfie of myself back in my panels. So actually people could see what I actually looked like. But I finally took hold of the VTuber mantle and decided to really get into it. So I got rid of everything that was showing myself. And I'm strictly now Shadow.
Gotcha.
Yes, the real me, which is like I go by Freya in real life. That's actually my real life name.
Your parents named you after a Norse goddess?
Yes, they did.
Nice.
And my middle names are very weird. They're hippie names, kind of like like Autumn Sky or like Flower, that kind of stuff. That's my middle name. So Autumn Sky.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, but yeah, so Shadow's my avatar, but Freya's my real life me. All right, so next question for Jake. I'm going to ask a question, then the audience has a few questions for you. Okay. What advice would you give someone wanting to pursue a career similar to streaming?
I would have to give two different sets of advice, depending on whether it was just normal streaming or VTubing, because they are related, but they're two separate animals. There's some things you'll have to do for some, and some things you won't have to do for the other. But if I were to give any advice, it would be if you're a Remora, you need to find a shark. You need to find somebody that's been doing this for a hot minute and knows what they're doing, especially if you can find somebody that's in your category of what you're trying to do with your stream. And then don't harass that person, but shadow them. Come into their chat, talk with them, and once you've gotten familiar, start to ask them some questions. In all fairness, there's one or two others, but Shadowfire is one of the VTubers I've been kind of shadowing, no pun intended,
I was gonna say,
try to learn
pun intended,
things.
because it's Shadow.
Right, but that's it. Find a veteran that is where you want to be, and politely glean as much information from them as possible, because the worst thing to deal with when I first started off was the people that I wanted to emulate were the biggest names in the business. They're giants, and it's just hard to get that kind of personalized attention from them. But once I started bumping around Discord, Twitch, and finding other VTubers that are a little bit closer to my level, that's when I found people like Azure Satan, Shadowfire, etc., so on and so forth, that have kind of told me what I need to do in order to get where they're going. So find somebody to model yourself after is probably the best advice I can give, and pursue that.
Definitely. And the funny thing is, because of you and me becoming friends and everything and hanging out, what was that recent email you just got that you had to fill out?
I haven't filled it out yet, but affiliate. I got affiliate the other day. Yep. Or I said the other day, yesterday I made affiliate, and I'm very proud of it. But for exactly that reason. I can't say a percentage number, but I'd say a good 60% of getting there was assistance and guidance from other people, and clout and networking from other people. So make friends and make a role model.
Yes. And honestly, that's why I try and do these interviews, is to showcase each of these streamers that I've found that I find deserve to be showcased. Hence why Jake's here.
Oh, you got to be like that. Gonna make me blush. My avatar doesn't even have that feature.
All right, Nick is asking, Jake, how did you get like a certain amount of viewers? Did someone host you, or like did you earn viewers just by playing games, or like other YouTubers help you grow in views?
A lot of it is networking, and like I said, finding that person that you want to emulate and kind of schmoozing with them. A lot of it was networking. People, I would show up there, talk to people in another channel, and then when they went to raid at the end of their session, they throw them over to me at some point in time because I had talked to them previously. But the best thing I could probably say that I did, and I have to be reminded sometimes, is being myself. I've been told I've got a personality that people want to watch for some reason. I'm wild. I'm out there. I have a foul mouth 9 times out of 10. I call it like it is. I'm just animated, and people like watching that. So if anything, I have made the right friends, and I have been the best version of me that I could be for my audience.
Very, very awesome. And the person who just asked that question, Nick Games, they put a purple heart beside your face on my screen.
Oh. Awesome.
They're trying to make you blush, that's all. All right.
If you see the nose on Kevin Frankel, that's my blush. That's the closest I can get.
All right. One thing I know that with you and me, how did we meet? We met because I posted, I think, I posted my PNG on I think it was one of those PNG drop posts on Twitter. I think that's how we met each other.
It was Twitter. Actually, I believe you were one of my first organic followers on Twitir.
Oh, yes.
Because everybody else that had joined me, because I had to create I am not a social media guy. I didn't have a Twitter prior to Giant Slayer being a thing. So when I started
I'm the same way. I didn't have Twitter until I created Shadow.
Right. When I first started that, I had like maybe 1 or 2 followers, but they were people I knew in real life and just supported the endeavor. You were actually one of the first people to, as VTuber, add me. And then I was like, okay, well, I see what she's doing over here. Let me see what she's got going on. I'm like, oh, wow, she's established for a while now. I need to I need to shake this tree and see what fruit falls out.
Just be careful, it's spicy. Because I'm fire, see?
Jeez.
Oh, come on, that was a good joke.
You need to contact Kraft and ask if you can get a contract for that sort of cheese.
Sorry, I'm lactose-free cheese. Actually, I'm not kidding. When I went grocery shopping today, Bravo's like, for fuck's sakes. I know, we're both pun people. We pun each other all the time, man. All right. Bravo asked, why is your biggest fear revealing your face?
Got a face and a voice made for radio. I'm words I'm not going to say on somebody else's stream, but would be fine saying on mine. I am not a good-looking person. I would love to act or be on a stage. I have been that way my whole life. I want to be an entertainer, but kind of hideous, to be quite honest about it. Just not a good-looking dude. So I would rather stay behind the mask. If I think about it in the way of like, if somebody knows what you look like and you get famous, they can point you out and be like, oh my god, that's Jake the Giant Slayer. Let me get a selfie. Oh my god. I would rather not have that. I'd rather be in an elevator with somebody and be like, hey, can I get the 3rd floor, please? And then hear my voice and be like, you sound just like Jake the Giant Slayer. Oh, I get that all the time. It's a cool guy. And then just go on about my day. I'd rather have the anonymity. That's more special to me.
Is that like with how you think I'm Mila Kunis all the time?
Yes, exactly that. But like that kind of recognition. Like, is that the guy? It might be the guy. I would rather them have suspicion of that's me than them actually know it's me. That's more of a keepsake to me.
Not a problem there, dude. All right, my next question then is, yes, I know, Kirno, I need some punishment for these jokes. I know. What's the best resource that you I can't talk now, apparently. What is the best resources that have helped you along the way to becoming a VTuber?
Definitely other VTubers. Like I said, I started out by watching the Bishoujo girls and everything that they put out. So I kind of have an idea of where I wanted to go with it. So YouTube, any other video or streaming platform that has somebody you want to emulate on it is a good resource. And like I said, other VTubers that I did get in contact with, like Azure Satan, you, Mermaider, there's a handful of others I've talked to. they are going to be your best resource. Or if you're not VTubing, then just other streamers that you would like to emulate. But word of mouth, the know-how, that's literally priceless. There's several suggestions that I never would have even thought of using for this had it not been for somebody else saying, hey, are you looking for this? Try this. So other people, networking is going to be your best resource.
Very cool. That actually brings us to the next question. Who are 3 people who have been the most influential to you?
For streaming or like over the course of my life?
For streaming, because we're talking about being a streamer and being a VTuber.
Probably, because I don't want to name like the whole the shoujo team. That might be a bit much. But if there's anybody amongst them that I've wanted to be like, it's probably Zentreya would probably be a very big one. Especially since she's able to do it mute, like she uses nothing but text to speech. So definitely Zentreya from VShojo. And let me see specifically for VTubing. Yeah, just that. Other VTubers, probably the whole VShojo team, just because a lot of them and a lot of people that are closely related.
Besides the VShojo stream, what 3 people in your life has motivated you to be a streamer in general? So let's not talk about the VShojo stream or team. Let's talk about other people besides them.
That would be the hard part right there. I can't name anybody if that's the case, because I outside of you, I could name you, because like I said, I've tried to use you as a role model and try to get where you are. But as far as like other VTubers that have inspired me, probably not many, if any at all. Like I said, nobody in my real life knows that I do this except for a handful of people. So it's hard to be inspired to do this if nobody knows you're doing it in the first place.
Okay, what about streamer-wise? Because I know that you have Aiden as one of your fellow influencers, correct?
Ninja Aiden has definitely helped me a lot with streaming. He's not a VTuber, obviously, but he's one. Let me see, I can also probably name off Fix It Freddy, Papa Crund, One Husky Gamer, friends of mine in real life, Mara Jade and Jar Jar Stanks, who are almost always in my streams. Those are my 2 friends from real life that I talked to about this when we first started. Some of those, but those all come from, like I said, just networking.
Very cool. Bravo has a question. Is Jake playing Among Us? Yes, he's going to be playing Among Us with us, guys.
Oh, yes.
All right, so we're coming down to our last 3 questions. What is one common myth about being a streamer and a VTuber that you want to debunk?
Let me see. That it's out of reach. It's not. It's very much within reach. I like what you see here in front of you. I have spent minimalistic amount of money on this, and I really do mean minimalistic. I think I haven't even capped $100 spent to get this up and running. So it's not out of reach, and it's not just for the rich and famous. If anybody tells you that, they are full of it. Secondary is that there's anything necessarily not safe for work or lewd about it. I mean, I know some VTubers shoot in that direction. Some of it's a little bit risque, but a lot of them are just normal people playing video games and having a good time for an audience. So it's a lot more plain Jane, average every day than what a lot of people imagine.
Nick has another question for you. Shadow, can you ask Jake, how did he feel when he got his first viewers or followers?
I nearly cried, man. I really do mean that. Like, I describe myself to people that know me in real life as a stone heart. Like, I am not an emotional guy. If you see any emotion out of me, it's anger or happiness. I don't do sadness very well. But to actually have people showing up and confirm that, like, you are watchable, people want you, the Giant Slayer, that's such a humbling feeling. Like, it's really indescribable to know that you're a product that somebody wants to buy. It flatters you in a most sincere way that you're just not ready for. So I cried. I really did. And I thanked him.
Nick says that is really respectful and heartwarming.
Anytime.
All right. So my few more questions here. Oh, and Nick, by the way, I had a little thing to add to that, what he just said. He also blushed when we gave him donations because he's not affiliated yet.
Oh no, when you and Agent came through those, I legitimately cried. I mean, I know you can't see it on my avatar, but I had to like almost shut down the stream because I was literally choking up from how much I did not deserve the praise being put upon me. I'm not a guy that raises his own self-esteem very often, so to have that secondary happening, like, dude, you're worth money now, not just viewership, but money. I never felt like I deserved that. So yeah, I broke down and cried.
And I can be honest with that too, because when I got my first donation and it was like $200 and something, I needed it for a gaming chair. Someone just gave it to me out of their own pocket. I honestly cried as well. And every time I get donations or anything, I cry. I actually blush, and it inspires me to want to continue because it means that people are enjoying what I'm creating.
Like, if you've ever seen somebody accept an Emmy or any sort of nominee award like that, and they're in tears and just the lights and the camera are flashing all over them, and it's their moment in the limelight, and they just can't like stand themselves up at all from how much they don't believe they deserve it. To us, on the other side of it, that's exactly what that feels like. Like somebody's handing you an Emmy and telling you that you just won Best Picture, and you're just like, I'm just a guy. I'm just out here doing this. Like, I don't deserve this kind of accolade. But you still have to accept it with humility and grace, and understand that, that's motivation to continue. They love you, so love them back.
Yes, and that's exactly actually good. That's a very good point there, Jake. It's exactly like that. And Nick, I just hydrated. Thank you for that. So my next question is, if you could step into my shoes, so my shoes specifically, would you have asked yourself any questions that I didn't ask?
No. I really would love to think up some, but I think you kind of covered the gamut. Maybe, if anything, where do I see myself in the future? Just because that's kind of a generic question that most interviews end up asking at some point. It's almost obligate, but I really wouldn't have an answer for it because I don't know. But that's kind of a part of the fun. The ship will sail wherever the wind's blowing.
And that's the same for us for streamers, I think, because you never know what can happen in their real life. Like, they're not going to be famous like, say, Markiplier or the Jacksepticeye, where they've continued their life doing VTube or doing streaming and doing their YouTube videos, and this is their income monthly.
Right.
So being a new streamer, it's definitely harder to get there to that point, but it's still worth it in the end. Honestly, the amount of money I've spent for my streaming, we're not going to even talk about that because I'm probably in the thousands now.
Good lordy.
Actually,
Good
no,
lordy.
more than 1,000 because my gaming laptop in general was custom made for me, so it was like 1,200 for just the laptop.
Okay, well, if we're counting that in, then yeah, I'm well above the 1,000 mark already because my entire PC is built for gaming and streaming at the same time.
Yep. Okay, so Kirinos made a joke. He's like, what do you think of my shoes? Aren't they cute? That was the joke for that question.
I mean, I really thought you were going to line me up for a slick joke. If you were in my shoes, I'd ask why I'm wearing heels. Like,
But it turned out to be an actual good question.
Right.
Nick said, I really think you, Shadow, and Jake in the future are going to be really good and nice Twitch streamers and going to have a lot of loving and caring fans that will support you through all your streams. Nick, you're going to make him blush.
Wait, was that a question directed at me?
No, it was just a comment.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I think you're absolutely right, too. And that's why, every time I end my motto and, calling out the fam, the Slayer's Legion. You have to have that sense of clan, tribe, belonging. Like, you are mine, I am yours, and we're going to go places together.
Mm-hmm. Agent and Kira are apparently cackling in the voice chat below us.
Oh, I bet they are.
Oh, gosh. All right. My last question for this interview, and then we're going to take a quick 5-minute break so I can grab some food, and I'm sure Jake would like to take a 5-minute break before we do Among Us. My last question is, where can our listeners connect with you online?
That is a very poignant question. I, of course, have my Twitch, twitch.tv/JGiantSlayer. You can find me on Twitter at GiantSlayer_J. For some reason, it wouldn't let me do the normal way, so I had to take a backdoor route on that one. I also have Facebook, Jake Giant Slayer. Each of these platforms has a different form of name too, because I don't know why they can't all be consistent. But I have Twitter, I have Facebook, and I have Twitch.
Trust me on the Twitter one. My Twitter, like Shadow55F. It wouldn't let me have fire. And then certain gaming platforms too, they consider fire to be a no-no word. So I have to pretty much be Shadow 55 or Shadow something.
The first time you showed me that, I thought for sure like it just didn't copy paste right or something. Like, where's the IRE? Like, surely it's not just F. And then it turns out, no, it really is just F. She probably got cut off by character limit.
Nope, it just I had a secondary Shadow 55 Fire account that I was using for my books actually, and because that account was still active, I wasn't able to switch it.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, but the account is no longer active. I deleted it completely. I strictly have my Shadow 55 Fire account. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Jake. I had fun doing this. This will be, like I said, guys, on my YouTube channel as soon as the editors are done editing it. So thank you very much, everybody. Did anyone have any last questions? Quick. Jake, did you have a question?
Who killed Jimmy Hoffa? But nobody's gonna ever answer that. So.
Oh my gosh,
no.
Shush you. All right, we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break here, guys. Those who want to join the Among Us, can you? Oh, why are you? That's what Agent's question is for you.
There was a guy named Scott, a woman named Sharon, and a steakhouse, I'm told.
Oh my gosh. And what do you like the most about streaming?
The connectability. Like, from a number standpoint, I'm always wowed by real-world math lining up on paper. But it's hard to believe that one person is putting out what they're doing on their device, and then up to, like, I mean, not us, but people sometimes have millions of viewers. That's insane to me that other people are doing that much, and I love the feeling of it. Like, do you know how many people are watching you right now out of everybody else that they could be watching? That's
23
insane.
viewers right now.
Exactly that right there. There's 23 people this interested that anything they could be doing, they're choosing you. And again, that's that humbling, flattering feeling of like, I didn't think I was that special, but to them, I am.
Fear, that's awesome. So Fear says that they got so much love in their first week that they reached affiliate in 7 days. So that's really cool.
God bless it. You got some fire to cook with right there.
I can only spread the love back out. Agreed, Fear. And that's why I do these interviews. I also post daily inspirational quotes on my Twitter as well. Also, Kirino just posted your YouTube channel, your Facebook, and your Twitter for for everybody in the chat here. So
appreciate
you get more followers, you know what?
Appreciate it. Kiro the hero right there.
Agreed. Aw, well, thank you, Fear. I appreciate that. Please go make sure you follow Jake as well. Jake is an amazing streamer. We play Phasmophobia together. We've played Dead by Daylight together. We're gonna play some Among Us now together.
I rip on her being a Canadian all the time. It's great.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Tonight's your first affiliate stream, Fear. That's so cool. I will see if I can join as a follower or as a viewer, and I'll see what you got there, and then we'll see if I'll put you on my list for interviews. Canadians, I know. Alrighty, so we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break here, guys. We'll be back in what time is it? It's 1:17 p.m. 5 minutes. What's that? I'm bad with math. So we'll be back at
7:22.
Yeah, 7:22. Taco slap stickers. I love it. You're the only 2 VTubers I have on my follow list, and I try to catch all streams. Oh, Bravo, you're amazing.
Wait a second. Who is it? Bravo. Oh, I already have Bravo on Twitter. Never mind.
Yeah, Bravo. All right, guys. That's 1:22 p.m. So about 5 or so minutes from now, we're gonna come back. We're gonna play some Among Us. If anyone wants to join for Among Us, please join my Discord and pop into the Among Us chat, and that way we can get started there. And we'll be back in 5 minutes.